Hey guys, Alex here, and I'm gonna do a little rant. Basically, I'm gonna talk about my experience meeting a certain actor who played Spider-Man in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man franchise movies. And I don't want to name names, but yeah, I'll just say he was the star of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. So, let's talk about what happened. No, let's talk about my credentials first, my background information that's pertinent to this particular video. So first, one, I've met over 100 celebrities easily, probably close to 200. Most of them have been met at conventions, so they were actually, scheduled to appear. And then there's been some of those chance encounters with celebrities, because being in Orlando, it happens a lot. For example, I've ran into Lucy Hale from Pretty Little Liars, which I don't watch, but my friend knew who she was. Pretty cute girl. But we ran into her at a restaurant, and she was really happy. She was really kind, I mean, and we asked her for a picture. She actually gave it to us. It was pretty awesome. But, I've also met other celebrities like Dan Aykroyd, Patrick Stewart, a lot of the Game of Thrones celebrities, a lot of Walking Dead celebrities. I mean, there's tons of different celebrities. But, okay, that's one thing you need to know about me. Second thing you need to know about me is I'm not famous at all, especially not compared to a Hollywood star. Granted, I do get recognized in Florida every so often. I think in Florida I've been recognized about 50 times by different people. And, like, most of those encounters were in Orlando, and I've had some in Tampa, and I had one encounter in Pensacola. That was pretty cool. But the fact is, like, when I do get recognized and people want like a picture with me or an autograph, I'll happily give it to them. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened enough times for me to be happy with it. And that's another thing you need to know about me. Last thing you need to know about me is I'm a huge film buff. I love movies. It doesn't matter what the genre is. If the movie's well made, I'll probably love it. But I also love comic book movies. I love them a lot. Like, you guys know I love Man of Steel. And I really loved the Amazing Spider-Man movies, because, like, I made some vlogs where me and my friend were going to watch the Amazing Spider-Man, which was cool, by the way. Both Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 were cool. And I loved Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved Captain America Winter Soldier. I loved a lot of these. I mean, granted, there's always a few stinkers in the bunch. I don't want to name which movie I didn't like. But yeah, back to the Spider-Man thing. Yeah, I was a huge fan of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man franchise, which kicked off in 2002. And not to name names, but yeah, the main actor in that movie, he was pretty good. I'll say that much. He was pretty good in that role as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. And I liked the movie so much, I watched the first movie 3 times in theaters, and then I went out and bought the DVD when it was released onto DVD. And I watched part 2 as well. Now, a lot of people loved part 2. They thought it was like one of the best Marvel movies ever made, or one of the best movies ever made. I don't say Marvel, but like one of the best comic book movies ever made. And I kind of disagree. Like, I felt the movie was pretty good, but I felt somewhat disappointed with it, but it was still definitely good. I didn't hate it at all. That's the one with Dr. Octopus. There's some pretty good moments in that movie, though. And then the third one came out, and most people agreed that the third one wasn't that great. That's the one with Sandman and Venom. So, fast forward to the present, I already mentioned that I have watched the reboot Spider-Man movies starring Andy Garfield. This is the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, and those are pretty good too. I actually like those ones a lot. So, now, let's go ahead and get all that background information out, and I want to talk about what happened. So, I met this, well, okay, first me and my friend, we were out, right? We were out and about a few days ago. And we saw this tweet that this actor was going to be, like, what did the tweet say? The tweet said, rumor has it that, what's to say, the star of Spider-Man was hanging out near one of the theme parks at a restaurant, and me and my friend were actually nearby. So we're like, oh shoot, here's our chance to meet a freaking superhero, like the star of a superhero movie. So we drove out to this restaurant, and for about 30 minutes, we waited out there, because you couldn't go inside unless you were actually eating there. And it was a pretty touristy area, so we were just hanging outside, and we figured that we had either missed the celebrity or the information was bad, like faulty information. So we were just kind of chilling, hanging out, just talking since we probably missed this guy. But after 30 minutes of just talking, we saw this guy come out, and he had like a black t-shirt, he had shorts on, and he had a beard, and he also had kind of like a beer belly, I guess you can call it that. He wasn't fat, but he did have a beer belly. And because we were looking for this guy initially, we instantly recognized the guy's face. Like, even though he had a beard, we still recognized this guy's face, like, crystal clear. So we recognized this guy. He was outside, pacing back and forth. We weren't sure what he was doing. I mean, we found out later he was on the cell phone, but it didn't look like it at the time because he didn't have his hands on a phone. I think it was attached to his wire, or to his ear. So it didn't look like he was busy. So at that moment, my friend went up to this actor. The actor was like, he had his hand on the lobby window on the outside, and he was just hanging out there. So my friend asked him, he's like, "Oh, excuse me, sir, can I please?" Well, not sir, because he's not that old. But he's like, "Excuse me, so and so, can I please get a selfie with you?" The actor, he kind of flipped out. He was like, "I'm on the phone, buddy." So my friend kind of got startled. My friend's a fully grown adult, just like myself. But he came back to me, visibly shaken. I was like, "What happened?" And my friend was like, I think I pissed that guy off." So apparently the guy was on the phone, and he was on the phone for the next 15 minutes. But we didn't know that because he had this earpiece, and it didn't look like he was talking. And it didn't look like it just looked like he was on a cell phone, to be honest. So this guy's walking back and forth. He eventually goes back inside, but he's still visible because he's still inside the lobby, but the lobby has a window for cover, so he's right there in plain sight. In fact, he's still facing out towards the big crowd outside, but nobody recognizes this guy. Like, there's people, like, staring into the restaurant. They're actually trying to look past the actor. They're trying to see what the restaurant looks like inside. Like, the actor's right there, but nobody at all recognizes him. I guess if you're not looking for somebody, it's easy to miss him. But that was cool to see that the actor right there. I mean, you see his face, and it's like, that's totally Spider-Man. That's him. That's Peter Parker. So this guy's on his phone. It looks like a business call, but he's really serious. He's like, wait, he's not doing this because it's like there's like no hands, so he's talking really serious. Definitely must have been a business call. But after 15 minutes of this, he eventually comes outside of the restaurant. He's no longer on the phone, but he comes back outside with a big group of people, probably like 15 or so people. And at that point, we realize that the celebrity is probably with his family, but there's some kids there. And there's also a lot of adults too, so it must have been like friends and family, or a lot of friends who have kids. So we were kind of weary then about bothering this guy, because you don't want to bother somebody if they're with family. I mean, that's the typical protocol for meeting celebrities. You don't want to bother them if they're busy or doing something. Kind of like cosplay too. You don't want to bother a cosplayer when they're eating lunch. But yeah. So we're waiting for him to not look so busy. But while we're waiting, I think this other group must have saw the same tweet we did. Because there's a group right there. It was a mom with the phone ready with her cell phone ready to take a picture. Sorry, and she had two kids. One of the kids had a Spider-Man T-shirt, and he also had an autograph book with his pen ready. So he gets in front of the actor, and he offers up his book, and he asks for like I guess an autograph, of course. And he's like, "Excuse me, sir, can I get your autograph? Sir, can I get your autograph? Sir, can I get your autograph?" So the actor he looks at him. And he just kind of walks around the kid and just keeps on going about his way. He didn't really acknowledge the kid. Actually, he didn't acknowledge the kid at all. So the kid definitely failed in getting his autograph or a picture or anything like that. So this guy's moving away with this big group of people, and then my friend, he decides to try one more time, even though he got shot down hardcore the first time. He asks the actor. Well, he's calling his name as he's actually walking right next to the actor, and he's calling his name, but the actor isn't turning around to look at him. I mean, he's actually right next to him, and he's not looking. So he called his name. "Excuse me, blank. Can I get a selfie with him?" The actor keeps walking by. Eventually, the actor walks to this curbside, and there's two private shuttles waiting for his group. They're like two vans basically. His entire group gets into one van, and then the actor gets into a van by himself. And at that point, my friend asks the celebrity one more time, "Hey, excuse me, sir, no one's around. Can I please just get a quick selfie with you?" And then the actor just has the door shut, and he just kind of drive off. So that was my experience meeting this actor who portrayed Spider-Man. And I gotta say, he didn't really strike me as your neighborhood-friendly Spider-Man. He seemed like a guy who didn't want to be bothered at all. And there's actually a lot of videos online about with this guy meeting some of his fans. They actually looked worse than what I experienced. I'll put the links in the description so you can watch those encounters too. And I won't talk about them. I'll just let you watch the videos yourself, and you can see how they were like. They're pretty intense, though. I just gotta say, in retrospect, I probably would never refuse anybody for an autograph. I never have, actually. Like, if they were right in front of me, I wouldn't refuse them. And I never refuse someone taking a selfie. Like, I actually love getting selfies with people who watch my videos. I think it's quite an honor. I think I've had about 20 or so selfies with my viewers. Like, they'll take the picture, and I ask them to send it to me. For some reason, they don't always send it to me, but I have about 20 pictures with some of my viewers, and they're pretty cool meeting these guys in person. So that's that. I just want to get that off my chest. I gotta say, yeah, I didn't really have the most positive experience, and as I said, I've met over 100 celebrities in my life. Probably close to 200. I've met Dan Aykroyd, Patrick Stewart. I think I already mentioned this, and I've never had a negative experience until I met Spider-Man. I was kind of hoping for a more positive experience, but I guess the guy didn't want to be bothered. Although I think there could have been better ways of letting people know he doesn't want to be bothered, I guess. And yeah, I guess that's really that. Put this away. I'll never watch this movie again. So yeah, I did try watching these Sam Raimi movies again with Spider-Man, and yeah, it wasn't the same thing. It's like when you know how a person is after you've met them, it's not the same thing when you see them perform on screen. Yeah, sure, I've bitten people's heads off before on YouTube, and that's because they were instigating something. But here, we're just asking for a picture, and we weren't being mean about it either. But the guy was not having it. So that was my experience. I kind of wished he would have at least given the kid an autograph. The kid with the Spider-Man shirt. But the kid was like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 maybe. He was like 3 feet tall. And yeah, it would have been nice if he would have just given him like a freaking autograph. Because he could have made this kid's day. He could have made my day and my friend's day. Like, I know I'm a fully grown adult, but meeting him would have been awesome. And I don't know, it would have taken like, 5 seconds to go like this. And that's it. But whatever. I'm not one to judge. Or did I do that already? Anyways, I'll see you guys later. And yeah, I'm not going to let this, deter me. Because I have met, as I said, about almost 200 celebrities. I have never had a negative experience until this time. But I really wish that my experience meeting Spider-Man would have been good. I'm sad to report that meeting Spider-Man was not what I had hoped for. But yeah, let's end this video now. It's pretty long.